Hello everyone, my name is Teacher Christine and I am here with a tutorial on how I use CamTwist for my online teaching. So, thank you for stopping by. Let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you need to do obviously is download CamTwist. Unfortunately, it is only for Mac users. Luckily, there is another program for PC users called ManyCam, but today we're dealing directly with CamTwist. So if you have that Mac computer, I hope that you will watch on and use some of these as help for yourself. Okay, so I have CamTwist open. Now, usually when you open it, it's going to come to a screen that looks like this. This is called your main window. Some people really like this window and they prefer it. It's not my favorite though. So I'm going to close this out and I'm going to go to View Studio. Now, what I normally do is I will not only have my studio open, but I will also go to View Preview, which is what I have open right now in order for you to see me. Hello. So that's why you have two of me. All right, so the first thing I already did was I had to make a new button, and that's what these little squares are, in order for me to be shown through my webcam. So I pressed new button. Now, because I'm editing it, I'm going Control-click to edit, and this is what the screen that pops up. This is what that looks like. So we're going to rename this webcam, and we are going to add webcam. Now, I have already done that, like I said. So we're going to press on that webcam. You can choose an external webcam like I have. This is my USB Logitech camera. Or you can just choose the FaceTime HD camera, which, hey, I have covered up right now with my my fancy USB camera. All right, so with this one, this is kind of just my standard webcam. I don't want anything fancy on the screen. I just want to be like, hey, I'm Teacher Christine. Let's start this lesson. Okay, great. We don't need to do anything else here. We can just press the X. Now, what I like to do is create a little icon so that I quickly know which one I'm dealing with. So we're going to Control-click, snapshot icon. Now, when we do this, we have to get ready to smile because it's going to be our picture. Perfect. And there you have it. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is create some presets in order to show our slides in either a small version or a large version with our beautiful face in the side. So the first one I'm going to do is press new button. I'm going to Control-click, press edit, add desktop plus. So let's work with that first. So as you can see, this is just showing my entire desktop in that sort of preview version. What we want to do is not do full screen. We want to confine to a specific Google slide. So this, for example, is a lesson that I taught last night. So I am going to use one of my Google slides from there and open it up. I'm using the Opera software rather than Chrome because I've found that it takes a lot less energy for my computer. All right, so usually what I do is I resize this over here. I just make sure it aligns with the top and the bottom so that it's always the same size, excuse me. I've also seen teachers use sticky notes behind it so that they can make it even smaller than that, but this is just what works for me. All right, so now I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to press select capture area. I'm going to bring this over here and just make it show what I want it to show from this Google slide. Now, all the Google slides are going to be the same exact size as long as you put it in the same exact spot. So no matter which one you open, it's going to show up in here. And then when we're done, we want to press Done Selecting. Okay, so that's it for our large slide. We don't have to touch that desktop plus anymore, but we do need to add our Lovely video. So now we're going to press the plus sign. We're going to press webcam. And instead of pressing add, we are going to press PIP, which means picture in picture. Okay, so as you can see on this little preview screen, this is where our picture would be, but it would be right in the center. We don't want that. So let's hit PIP or PIP webcam. Make sure that the correct webcam is chosen. Hello. And then we are going to move stuff. I always hit clear background. I usually move this down to about 0.5. And then I move this up in the right-hand corner. Sometimes I'll move it to the left. It depends on what you like. Okay. Now another thing that you can do if you feel like your picture is big enough, but you don't like that the sides are in there, you can also come to crop left, top, bottom, right, and change those things a little bit. So sometimes I will do that just so that I can have even more room for the actual things on the screen. And then I'll be able to move this over even more if I want. Okay. So now that one's done, we are going to name this Large GS. That's what I name it, Large Google Slide. And then I can press the X button, and then I can make my little screenshot. All right, so there we go. For some reason, the name didn't save, so I'm just going to go back in there and edit. And there we have it. Okay, so now we are going to create a smaller version of our Google Slide, sort of for this little area or this little area right here. It's really good if you want to keep your reward system on the screen the whole time. You can do that. It's up to you. So let's press New button, Control click on the button, press Edit, and we are going to press plus. We are going to press Webcam and Add, because we want that to be the bigger picture this time. Make sure that you've selected the correct camera. Now in advance, because sometimes it doesn't come up on here, if you don't see it populating on the preview screen, feel free to save this ahead of time and then come back in, and it should, or you can even press cut and it will come up. Luckily it worked this time. Okay, so after I've put my webcam in, now I'm going to press plus. I'm going to press desktop plus, and this time that one is going to be the PIP screen. So we're going to press PIP. Now, as you can see here, it's showing my entire desktop. We don't want that. So we are going to press PIP desktop. We're going to select desktop plus settings, uncheck full screen, make sure resizable selection is checked off, and then press select capture area. And we're going to do the same thing we did before with just making sure that screen is covered. Okay, so everything's good on this. We're just going to press done selecting. Then we go back to PIP settings, and I like to press clear background because I don't like those black bars that come up. And this you can scale larger or smaller if you'd like. We're just going to leave it at about 1. I think that's a pretty good size. All right, and then I'm going to move this over here. Now it's covering up my face a little bit, so I either have the option of going like this during class and saying, yeah, you see this? It's a little confusing because it's backwards, so you just have to remember which way you're going. Or you can make this just a little bit smaller and then move it even more. All right, so that might be a little bit of a better option. Okay, so there's some other options here. Once again, with the crop left, top, bottom, right, Those are great. You can change border colors, etc. But I would pretty much just keep it the way it is. Now we are going to name this. I like to name it Small Google Slide and press Enter in order for that to save, and the X button. Don't forget to take your snapshot. Okay, so now the other thing I like to do is use my iPad sometimes, especially for rewards. Or if you just prefer to use your iPad instead of the Opera system, I've got my iPad right here, and I've got it hooked up to my computer with a cord. Now we are going to create a new button for an iPad. And we can create a large iPad or we can create a small iPad, just like our large Google Slide and small Google Slide. Press New button, Control-click, Edit, press your plus button, and we are going to select Webcam. Press Add. Let's edit that webcam we want to be our external or your regular one, whatever you use. Then we are going to press the plus sign again. We are going to use webcam again, but this time we're going to press pip. Make sure that you select that pip one because that's the one we're going to edit. So we go to webcam settings, and from the drop-down menu, as long as you have your iPad plugged into your computer, it will show up as a camera, and we will press that as our selection. Now we can scale this, we can move this just like we did with our other type of Google Slide from our computer screen. So I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller. I'm going to move this over here. Sometimes it doesn't come up right away until you sort of save it or edit things. So I'm just going to call this Small iPad and press Enter. Let's see if I press cut, if that'll come up. Okay, so now it's come up right there. And that sometimes will make it easier just for us to press clear background, for example. If we don't want those black bars, we're going to have to crop top and crop bottom, like so. And then that will make it even easier for us to put this where we want it. Okay, so there we have our iPad in a smaller version. And now we can do our snapshot again. Okay, and now we want to do a bigger iPad. So let's press New button, Control-click, Edit. Press the plus button, Webcam, Add. This webcam, since it's the bigger one, we want to change to iPad. And then we go to Add, Webcam, Pip. And this one is going to be our picture. Make sure you press on Pip Webcam. Press clear background, go to webcam settings and pick your camera. And then we can scale this. Like I said, I usually stick to 0.5 or around there. Sometimes I will crop myself a little bit, and then I'll put this in the upper right-hand corner. You can put it wherever you think is best for your student. I'm just going to crop myself just a little bit. And then I can move it to where I want. These are fully editable once you've decided, so if you don't like where you put your picture, you can always change it based on the lesson and where things are. Okay, so we're going to call this one Large iPad. Very inventive, I know. All right, so that's your main setup. I like to add just a few more slides just to make it extra fancy. Okay, so one of the extra things that I like to do is to add a little hold screen, since VIP Kid always is like, start your class, you better start your class. I just like to have something there to warn my student, hey, in 1 minute, I'm going to be teaching you. I promise I'll be there. And it makes VIP Kid happy as well. So we are going to add a new button. Control click, edit. I'm not going to put my webcam in this. I am only going to put Desktop Plus, press add, and I am going to uncheck full screen and select capture area. Now what I have here is just a Google slide that I made specifically for this. So this will be in one of my tabs on my internet browser, and then I just simply put that there and make sure that's lined up. And then after you're done selecting, you can check that. Now, one of the things that I've noticed recently is, for some reason, if you look on the left side, you can still see me. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger. You can probably do this with borders too. Just so, I think it's when my picture's in there beforehand, it sort of saves it a little bit. It's kind of strange. So I'm just going to make sure these borders are here as well to prevent that from happening. And then press done selecting. Now you'll notice it says your class will begin with teacher Christine in, but it doesn't have a number. That's because CamTwist actually has a really cool option where you can add a timer. So we are going to look for that timer. Oh, it's actually a countdown, it's called in here. And we're going to add that as a regular ad. Oops, I accidentally did that one, so we're going to delete it. Okay, so we're going to go to countdown. It's going to start counting down from 1 minute. You can choose all of these extra things. I'm going to change the color to be orange, just so that it's shown more on the screen. And you can change its position, etc. I'm just going to keep it the way it is. And I'm going to call this pre-class. Or you can call it countdown, whatever floats your boat. Press enter, and there you go. Oops, we forgot to take our large iPad screenshot, guys. What will we ever do? Let's do it real quick. And our pre-class, we can not Snapchat, we can snapshot that as well. All right, so we've got our webcam, large Google slide, small iPad, large iPad, pre-class. Now, I also like to do a welcome screen with my name on the bottom. Let me just get me back here without the treats. I'm getting hungry. We're going to press new button, control click, edit, press the plus button. We are going to choose webcam, add that. Just make sure it is the correct webcam. Then we are going to press plus sign, and we are going to look for text. Hopefully this will work. Press add. And we are going to change where it says hello world to our names. Teacher Christine. It's just easier for me to put it there, not in the middle of my face, instead of being like, hey, I'm Teacher Christine, can you see that? Or, hey, I'm Teacher Christine, can you see that? It just makes it life a little bit easier for me. So I am going to position this lower, obviously. And I can even change the color of that. I can change whether there's a drop shadow, whether I want to rotate it. There's different fonts here. It's up to you. And then you can be really fancy and say, Hi, my name is Teacher Christine. See what I did there? Okay. All right, and that one I will call the welcome screen. Press enter after you're done doing things. It'll make it show up on your preview. And then we will go to our welcome. We will do our little snapshot. And there's our setup. We've got lots of really great things here. Now, our next step, we're getting very fancy here, is creating presets so that you only have to press a number or a letter when you want it to show up on your screen. So we will go to User, edit this menu, press the plus sign, go to Action to Take, Load Setup. So my first one, I'm thinking about it in terms of when I'm on the platform, what's my first thing that I'm going to do? That's going to be pre-class. So I'm going to press 1 as my keyboard shortcut. You're going to press into that keyboard shortcut and press 1. Exclusive access means that when you're in this program, you won't be able to use that number 1 unless it's to change the screen. For a lot of things that's really good, but I was getting into trouble before when I was trying to create new buttons and it wouldn't let me type things in because it had exclusive access. So it's kind of something you have to decide whether it's good for you or not. All right, so that's my first one. Now I'm going to make my second one. The second thing I would do is have my welcome screen, which didn't populate here yet, but I know that's it. And we're going to put it as the number 2. Next one would be load setup. Webcam. Sometimes I just want to use the webcam without any frills. So that's going to be my number 3. Then I'm going to add, usually I would go over my reward slide next. So I'm going to go to large iPad as my 4th, or you could call it L. That might work. Then I'll go to small iPad. I'll make that maybe an S. I'll go to my small Google slide and make that, I'm going to go back to the number system, a number 4. And then my large Google slide and make that a 5. This is just something that I'll remember. It probably makes no sense to everybody else, but you have to just do whatever you're going to know in the click of a moment. So those are all done. We're going to exit out of there. Now, when I'm actually teaching my classes, I only have my preview screen up. I exit out of the studio, and what I'll usually do is have this up here, and I'll make it really tiny just so I can make sure that I can see what's happening. And I have to make sure that I'm clicked onto the preview screen, onto this little bar, so that CamTwist is picking up what I'm doing. So if I press 1, there we have my countdown. If I press 2, it didn't work for some reason. Let's press 2 again. I don't know why it doesn't like to. All right, well, we pressed 3 for our webcam. 4 is my smaller Google slide. Apparently I don't know what side it's on. 5 is my larger Google slide. S was my iPad, smaller, and L was my iPad, larger. The reason why I do an iPad and my Google Slides on the screen is because I just feel like it's a lot for the computer to handle. It's way, the amount of things on the screen at the same time make me a little anxious. So that's just something that I've figured out helps me a little bit to be a little less overwhelmed, if you will. All right, so that's about it. I hope that you guys understood what I did today on CamTwist. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment below, or you can send me a message and I would be more than willing to try and help you. If you haven't already, make sure that you join the group, VIP Kid Google Slides. That's where you're going to find all these Google Slides, as well as an amazing Google Slide planner for your lessons. It just makes props and reward systems so much easier. There's like a little quiz that you have to do to make sure you understand and everything, but I absolutely recommend joining that group. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will come and see more of my videos. If you have any requests on tutorials or want to know anything about teaching online, please feel free to put that in the comments section below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.